The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. The OPM defending removal of funds from the National Investment Fund as the F&M questions the decision to move the money. Government saying the money was moved to fund airport work. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell says the government is looking to review work permits issued on Grand Bahama. And Mitchell accuses the F&M of trying to create anxiety over BPL. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, August 7th, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Alexis Burrows will be here with us. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, more than $265 million removed from the National Investment Fund to support the government's airport infrastructure program. That's according to Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Ramming. Ramming responding yesterday to media queries as to why funds were moved from the National Investment Fund. Opposition Leader Michael Pintard in an August 6th letter to Minister of Finance Michael Alkitis questioned the depletion of more than $265 million from the NIF and why no meaningful public information concerning the removal of the funds was made. According to the government's 6 months report on budgetary performance for fiscal year 2025-2026, the NIF held a balance of $265.3 million in December 2025. Recent government reporting revealed a balance of $0.2 million at the end of March 2026. Pintard saying, quote, as far as we were able to ascertain, the government has provided no explanation as to why these funds were withdrawn, who authorized their withdrawal, the legal authority relied upon, or the purposes for which the monies were ultimately used. In a post on social media platform X, though, Ramming wrote that he sought clarification from the Ministry of Finance on the matter and that, quote, the ministry advised that the funds were primarily used to support the government's airport infrastructure program, which has been publicly announced. He said the National Investment Fund Act 2022 establishes the fund's governance and reporting framework, including a 5-member board of governors with representation from the Central Bank of the Bahamas. He said the act also requires reporting on the fund's financial position and withdrawals. In his letter to Alcides, Pintard asked who comprises the board that governs the NIF and if there was an investment mandate for the $265 million moved from the account, ramming in the face of the questions. Ending his post, saying, quote, the opposition should therefore await the publication of the fund's report, which will provide the appropriate accounting and details concerning the use of the fund's resources, rather than drawing conclusions ahead of the statutory reporting process. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration Fred Mitchell says the government is undertaking a comprehensive review of employment and hiring practices amid public concern over the issuance of work permits on Grand Bahama. Mitchell saying the purpose of the review is to obtain a clear understanding of the facts surrounding current employment practices and to ensure that policies continue to serve the best interests of the Bahamian people. He said it's not an exercise intended to discourage investment or create uncertainty for employers, but that it's a fact-based review designed to identify challenges, promote transparency, and strengthen our Bahamians. Mitchell said the ministry will collaborate with the Department of Labor and other relevant agencies to conduct the review, during which officials will examine labor certificate applications and employment data. He says they'll also meet with employers to understand better their workforce requirements, staffing challenges, and long-term labor needs. Well, Mitchell, as PLP chairman, saying that the FNM in its recent criticism of government's energy policy is trying to undermine the work of professionals and, quote, create anxiety among the public. In recent weeks, New Providence has been rocked by repeated and sometimes extreme power outages, largely due, according to BPL, to faults in the transmission and distribution system. Company officials have blamed the inconsistent power supply on high-temperature heating equipment. Former BPL CEO Whitney Hasty and former Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister among those who have questioned that explanation. Mitchell saying, quote, the short answer is that they seem designed to undercut the work of the professionals on the job and create greater anxiety among the population. Instead of urging patience, they're exacerbating the situation. Mitchell suggested that criticism was purely political, grouping it with the commentary of FNM leadership, as well as reporting by the Nassau Guardian, which he said amounted to, quote, interesting observations, nice history lessons, and the expected outrage from the opposition. A woman has been charged in connection with a deadly hit and run of a pedestrian. 40-year-old model in Eugene is accused of failing to stop after she mowed down 52-year-old Humins Baptiste with a white van as he walked along Damien Way off Cowpen Road in New Providence on July 27th. Eugene did not have to enter a plea to the charge of vehicular manslaughter when she made her first appearance before Acting Chief Magistrate Ansela Evans. She was informed of the charges with the assistance of a Creole interpreter. An immigration officer telling the court that Eugene has held a work permit for 10 years and that her current permit expires in October. Nonetheless, prosecutors asked for more time to check her status and criminal history. She returns to court on August 10th for a bail hearing. The case is expected to be fast-tracked to the Supreme Court with the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment on November 5th. Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Bahamas, Yang Zhuorang, donating $20,000 to the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority. Ambassador Yang making the courtesy call to officials from the authority, including Executive Chairman Jamal Strachan, to discuss initiatives between the embassy and the authority. Strachan says the donation speaks to a long-standing partnership between China and the Bahamas. And scores of disabled Bahamians attended a special job fair for people with disabilities hosted by the Ministry of Urban Renewal and Community Relations. This was at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium yesterday. The fair followed job readiness training provided by the National Training Agency. Overseas, a student shot several people at a high school outside Bangkok today, killing at least 5 and wounding several others. Authorities say the gunman also appeared to have separately killed his 2 grandparents. The gunman took his own life. 5 school staff members, including teachers and administrators, died in the shooting around 10 a.m. The shooter also killed his 2 grandparents at home prior to the shooting. The Prime Minister of Thailand, speaking after touring the school, confirmed reports that the shooter was just 14 years old and killed himself. The Prime Minister saying the boy, who lived with his grandparents, had shown signs of stress connected to school. The gun, described by police as small and compact, was legally registered to his grandfather. About an hour after the shooting, people stood outside comforting one another as police and first responders walked around the co-educational state school, which has an enrollment of around 3,000 students ranging from ages 12 to 18. A witness telling reporters that students hid inside a classroom when they heard gunshots from another building before police officers knocked on the door and cleared a way for them to leave. Ukrainian long-range drones hit a warehouse in the Ural Mountains belonging to Russia's biggest online retailer, more than 1,200 miles from the two countries' border. Ukraine has regularly hit targets in the distant Urals this year and has even struck a Russian oil refinery in western Siberia, nearly 1,500 miles or more than 1,500 miles from the border. The attacks are examples of how Kyiv has used drone innovation as a key part of its response to the invasion by its much larger enemy more than 4 years ago. Its successes have drawn international interest and drone cooperation agreements with 9 countries, with further deals being negotiated with 15 other countries. The warehouse in Russia's 4th largest city was set ablaze by the attack, most unlike at some of the more than a dozen other wild depots struck by Ukraine in recent weeks that have burned down. Kyiv is trying to rattle the Russian public and the Kremlin with the attacks. In the wake of sometimes days-long blackouts in Cuba fueled by the oil blockade imposed by the U.S. Trump administration in January, Cubans are planning their lives around the lights turning back on, if only for 20-minute bursts. Those small bursts of relief last a few minutes or a few hours. They come at any time, day or night. Increasingly, electricity flicks on when many are asleep. That's the case for Cubans across the island whose lives have been transformed by one of the worst crises since the Cuban Revolution. Daily life has turned into a tangle of compounding crises families have to unravel. Public transportation and cultural events have come to a standstill as well. So has tourism, the country's economic engine, especially as tourism companies have withdrawn, leaving 25,000 hospitality jobs vacant. Flights to the island are regularly canceled, and workdays have been shortened to adjust to the new reality of Cuba without power. Medicine shortages have worsened, and food rots in refrigerators without power.
This is Sports Update.
In sports, the Bahamas picking up a pair of bronze medals at the 2026 CAC Games in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, as competition begins to wind down. After being in third for much of the competition, the Bahamas' 2-person mixed dinghy team of Patrick Tomlinson and Mary Jack Nash ended the competition that way, winning a bronze medal in sailing. Meanwhile, in athletics, national record holder in the men's pole vault, Brendan Vanderpool, made sure he wasn't going to be left out. Vanderpool soared 5.10 meters to finish third in the men's pole vault competition. Bahamas now has 3 medals in the CAC Games so far. The historic silver that was won in wrestling last weekend, and 2 bronze medals in separate sporting events Thursday. And from the beginning, Team Bahamas maintained its position in 4th place and closed out in that position at the 2026 CAC Golf Championships right here in Nassau, the Bahamar Royal Blue Golf Course. The host nation improving 1 position from its 5th place finish at last year's competition, which took place in Barbados. Puerto Rico successfully defended its titles, winning both the George Teal Trophy and the Horman Cup. The victors totaled 58 points following 3 rounds of golf. Bermuda overtook the Dominican Republic for 2nd place on day 2 and never relinquished that position. The team wrapped up with 47 total points, Dominican Republic rounding out the top 3. And a trio of Bahamian athletes advancing out of their opening heats at the 2026 World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Zion Davis, Kazera Thomas, and Kai Marie Hanna among the standout performers on day 2 of the junior athletics meet. Davis, the current junior national record holder in the 400 meters, continued to live up to the reputation he established all season long. Quarter miler running 46.73 seconds to place second in Heat 3 of the men's 400 meters race, entering the semifinals with the 19th fastest time. And competing out of lane 8 in semifinal Heat 1, Davis had to dig deep to secure a top finish, but he got the job done with a top 3 finish of 45.96 seconds to advance to the men's 400 meter final. More on how the athletes are doing in today's Guardian Sports section. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. We've got a deep layered trough just east of the country that's going to continue to lift northwestward today while interacting with rich tropical moisture. And that's going to support elevated shower and thunderstorm activity across the northern Bahamas as well as portions of the northwestern islands. This activity should gradually taper off later this evening through the overnight hours as the feature shifts away from the area. Meanwhile, lingering low-level moisture combined with surface ridging may bring a few isolated showers across the central and southeast Bahamas this morning through this evening. Moderate to fresh breeze is expected to continue, supported by a modest pressure gradient. There is a moderate to high risk of isolated showers and even severe thunderstorms across the area. And there's a moderate risk of rip currents for Atlantic coastal waters and east and southeast sheltered coastal waters of the central and southeast Bahamas. Your forecast for today, the northern half of the country looking at partly cloudy conditions with overcast periods for the northernmost islands, becoming variably cloudy tonight there, but mostly fair tonight for the rest of the northwest Bahamas. A 40 to 60% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms, decreasing to about 30% by tonight for the northernmost islands. 30 to 50% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms, decreasing to about 20 to 30% by this evening for the rest of the northwest Bahamas. The Central Islands looking at a mix of sun and clouds today, becoming mostly fair tonight with a 30% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms. And the Southeast Bahamas looking at partly sunny to sunny conditions, becoming mostly fair tonight with about a 10 to 30% chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms. For boaters, winds southeasterly at 15 to 20 knots this morning for the northernmost islands and the northwest Bahamas, decreasing to about 10 to 15 knots east to southeast by this afternoon. The Central Islands looking at east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots today, decreasing to about 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts by this afternoon, and easterly at 15 to 20 knots for the southeast Bahamas today. High temperatures getting up to around 90, 91 Fahrenheit, 32, 33 Celsius. The heat index will make it feel like it's 102 Fahrenheit, 39 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General Insurance, made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Shop early to get your uniforms and catch Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4, get 1 free sale. Pre-monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys' long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories, and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags, and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers, or pants, get the third 50% off. Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back-to-school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road Back Special. Restrictions apply.
Tell them.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Headed to South Florida soon? Holiday Inn Express in Plantation welcomes you to the heartbeat of Florida fun. Whether it's business or pleasure, the Holiday Inn Express is close to sensational shopping, captivating dining, and nightlife. Elevate your Florida experience. Sleep well and rest easy at Holiday Inn Express. Complimentary breakfast buffet featuring seasonal favorites. Keep up your fitness routine in our 24-hour on-site fitness center with cardio equipment and free weights, or take a refreshing swim in our outdoor pool. Your special Bahamas tourist rate awaits. Holiday Inn Express, 1701 North University Drive, in Plantation. Book your getaway now. Call directly at 954-472-5600 or the sales department for reservations and additional information.
At Cleveland Clinic, you set your course, not cancer. So when your journey takes an unexpected turn, you seek out the experts who've conquered it before, and you forge new paths to help fight cancers. For every route to a cure, for every care in the world. See how we're innovating cancer care at Cleveland Clinic today.
At RBC, we think it's your ideas that build a life. And sometimes to keep an idea moving forward, you need a little help. That's why with the loan from RBC, there are no upfront bank fees. And with up to 100% financing, up to 10 years to repay and competitive rates and terms, there's never been a better time to start the conversation. Let's talk loans. Visit rbc.com/loans today. Your idea of getting there happens here. Conditions apply, subject to normal lending criteria.
Did you know that world-class medicine is just a quick flight away in Tampa? Tampa General is Florida's premier academic health system and one of America's top hospitals. Our global medicine program delivers advanced treatment options, assists with coordinating travel, and provides cultural support from a multilingual team. Discover the power of academic medicine at Tampa General's Global Medicine Program. For more, visit tgh.org/global medicine.
Attention All-Star students.
The season for school success starts now at John Bull Business Center. Stock up on notebooks, backpacks, pens, calculators, art supplies, and more with 20% off school supplies and 10% off teaching aids. Shop now through September 12th, and every purchase automatically enters you to win one of 3 Apple prizes. This year is your season to shine. Gear up, save big, and start your school year like a champ with John Bull Business Center.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Hey, did you ever sort out the car insurance?
I thought you did.
No, I sent it to you.
You sent me the reminder.
Okay, hold on. Okay, done.
Done?
Yeah, renewed, paid.
NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers gives you access to a full-service insurance portal where you can get an instant quote, renew, pay, and manage your documents. All fully online. With NUA, you have a complete insurance portal. Start now with an instant quote at nuainsurance.com.
New school year, new gear. From uniforms to laptops, a Fidelity personal loan can help you check every item off of your kid's school list. Jump into back-to-school season with ease. Apply for a Fidelity personal loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now on this first Friday. Is it the first Friday? Yes, it is. First Friday of August 2026. Feels like August has been around for a little while.
Yeah, this is the 7th.
7th day of the month. And Alexis Burrows is here every first Friday. Good to see you. Good morning.
Morning. Good to be here. Morning, Bahamas.
Hope all is well. Hope you've been managing with the electricity issues in the country.
Listen, that was it the Sunday? This is Sunday night one. I think that was like 6, 7, 8 hours. The first
You're
one.
in Western New Providence?
East.
Oh, okay.
So remember, there was the one on. There was one of the first one was like a Sunday night. It went. I think it's Saturday or Sunday night. It went off at like I think 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and didn't come back on until midnight, 1 a.m.
Oh.
This was the first island-wide one, and then listen, my son, he's not used to the heat. That stressed him right out.
Oh boy,
that stressed him right out. But we survived it.
Mm-hmm.
He's still here.
Yeah,
sweating all.
My goodness, and we still have many summer weeks to go, so it's going to be interesting. But so I mean, I don't want to say, but this week wasn't so bad since the holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I probably just jinxed it. Probably going to be.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
right? Fingers
we
crossed.
salute them for. I guess it didn't get as hot as normal because they're saying it's the heat. Was it not as much lightning? Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't as hot this week. We had a lot of cloud coverage. The
Oh, is that
rain
what
helped
it
cool it down a little bit, so it wasn't so bad.
Maybe. Okay. Sure. Well, of course, we're going to be talking about BPL again today. As the I don't know if it's the minister or if is he speaking in his capacity as chairman. I'm not sure. But anyway, Fred Mitchell has had some interesting things to say about BPL and the people who are criticizing BPL. So we'll get into that. And there's a whole lot more interesting things to talk about right now in the news. And in the news, we'll get to BPL in a bit, but the big headline in the National Guardian today, $265 million moved to fund airport work. So this is concerning the National Investment Fund. And there was some money in there, and then the F&M noticed that there wasn't money in there. And like, hey, what happened? So we get a response from the OPM, which if you listen to the show early in the week, I have a new nickname for them, and maybe it'll stick. But I think we should start calling them OBS.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We'll see if that catches on. But, yeah, a very interesting response from the Director of Communications. And we'll let's go through this story, and then you'll see what I mean. So Chester Robards writing about this today. $165 million was moved from the National Investment Fund, the NIF, to support the government's airport infrastructure program. That's according to Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Ramming. Ramming was responding to media queries as to why the funds were moved from the NIF. Opposition leader Michael Pintard, in an August 6th letter to the Minister of Finance, Michael Halkitis, questioned the depletion of more than $265 million from the NIF and why no meaningful public information concerning the removal of the funds was made. According to the government's 6 months report on budgetary performance for the fiscal year 2025-2026, the NIF held a balance of $265.3 million in December 2025. That's what, 7 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Recent government reporting revealed a balance of $0.2 million at the end of March 2026.
They left some pocket change.
Wow. Pintard said, quote, in effect, approximately $265 million was removed from the fund within a 3-month period. As far as we are able to ascertain, the government has provided no explanation as to why these funds were withdrawn, who authorized their withdrawal, the legal authority relied upon, or the purposes for which the monies were ultimately used. Pintard said, quote, the National Investment Fund was presented to Parliament and the Bahamian people as a sovereign investment vehicle governed by clear legislative safeguards designed to ensure transparency, accountability, professional management, and adherence to international best practices, including the Santiago Principles. It's therefore impossible to reconcile those stated objectives with a situation where where more than $250 million has apparently been transferred out of the fund without any accompanying public disclosure or explanation. Well, in a post on X, formerly Twitter, because that's where you should do these things. I love Twitter, by the way, but so I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying this is really interesting what we're doing now. Raming wrote that he sought clarification from the Ministry of Finance on the matter, saying, quote, the ministry has advised that funds were primarily used to support the government's airport infrastructure program, which has been publicly announced. The National Investment Fund Act 2022 establishes the fund's governance and reporting framework, including a 5-member board of governors with representation from the Central Bank of the Bahamas. The act also requires reporting on the fund's financial position and withdrawals. In his letter to Halkitis, Pintard asked who comprises the board that governs the NIF and if there was an investment mandate for the $265 million moved from the account. This information has never been made public. Well, Raming, in the face of the questions from the Tribune and now the opposition, ended his post on X saying, quote, the opposition should therefore await the publication of the fund's report, which will provide the appropriate accounting and details concerning the use of the fund's resources, rather than drawing conclusions ahead of the statutory reporting process. So what does that mean? Don't ask nothing? Don't watch nothing?
Wait till we tell you. I have a question. This is like his personal Twitter account? Sorry, I can't call it X. In my mind, I'm stuck on Twitter.
I'm with you.
Is this his personal Twitter account? Is this like an official, is this the official, like,
no, this was on
director
his.
of communication?
On his. Mm-hmm. Everything's the same. Chairman, minister, MP, you can be everything you want. The Bahamas, be all you can be or want to be. Everything at the same time.
Shouldn't there be a separate account like that's like the official?
OPM has a page. They have a page.
Okay, so have we seen like where's the evidence of the work done on the airports that ties to like which airports have been updated? When was what was the 3-month period?
You should wait for the details concerning the use of the fund's resources rather than drawing conclusions ahead of the statutory reporting process.
What were the conclusions drawn? What were the conclusions drawn?
Conclusion that there's malfeasance or something. I mean, the money just disappeared. I mean, wouldn't you freak out if you open your bank account and realize what the?
Oh no, I mean I would. Mm-hmm. Technically, it's not Pintard's account though.
No, it's the public's. And I mean, if we're told, hey, we're going to be using some of this for this, like, okay.
See, now you're gonna cause me to draw conclusions, and I'm gonna get in trouble. So
you weren't before?
I don't know.
So there's a couple other lines here in this article. So while Raming mentioned the statutory reporting process of the fund as prescribed to the board, there has not been any regular reporting or public understanding of the management and operation of the NIF since the act was passed 4 years ago.
Oh, so this is the first time anybody used it?
The act states that the board must submit both quarterly and annual reports to the minister.
Oh, so there's not been a report before? No?
That's what it says here.
Yeah, we skating with bulls. We definitely skating with bulls.
Nice way to put it. Let's get your reaction to it, folks. Moved to fund airport work.
That's so.
There was money moved to support work at Grand Bahamas Airport too, right? Did I dream that, or is that?
I think so.
Huh? Yeah, wasn't it? I thought so. Anyway, I don't know. Can't keep up now.
So okay, so if I'm following the director of communications post, what he's saying is that because they said that they were doing work at the airport, that qualifies as them saying they were using the money out of the NIF to fund airport work. That's the in the interim of the actual report. That's the conclusion that I think he's trying to draw us to. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. But what is I had to go do some research because it's like, what is the
How are you gonna
statute?
do research on what? Because there's been no. What are you going to use to research? But
it's a full circus.
Hey, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. I'll give you a little project, Alexis. Can you, while we read through some of these messages, can you Google who's on the board for the National Investment Fund of the Bahamas? Let's see if we can find out any information on that. The only thing we know is that
Central Bank
it's
is
supposed
on
to be
it.
a central bank member. 5 people, including a central bank. Who's on the board?
I bet you they don't even have a website.
Let's get your reaction again. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Anything yet?
No. You know, it's funny. The only thing that comes up is the recent controversy.
Oh.
I mean, I guess to Pintard's point, or whoever it was that was doing the reporting, maybe that there hasn't been a report in the 4 years that the fund has been in existence. But it's not the Bahamas Investment Fund. It's the National Investment Fund, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. See if that makes a difference.
Is
Well,
that
you.
it? Because they call it the NIF, but I'm
Yeah.
not. No, it's something else.
Something else. You keep doing that while I read these text messages. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. This person says here, has either, wait, it goes from the beginning. Okay, that's BPL. Has either okay, that is BPL. We'll get back to that in a bit. When will we do something? When will we stop talking and do something? This is beyond insane what they are doing with our money. Hey, I mean, airport work is great. Some of the airports here don't even deserve to be called that, right? So that's admirable work. But just tell people that's what you're going to do. Make it make sense, because investment fund, sure. Tell us we're going to use this because we need to do this, and the money will come from that. That's fine. Anything yet? Wow.
Not back to the act, but this is not.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting. No, it's definitely called the National Investment Fund. Okay. Appointment of the board.
Oh, wow.
Page 8.
No, this is just not who's on it.
No, we're checking right now.
We should play Jeopardy music while we do this.
Okay. The Governor General, on the advice of the Prime Minister, shall appoint a board of governors for a fund. I don't even say who's supposed to take part in them.
Okay. All right. While you do that, I'm going to read this from the Tribune as well to get their perspective on it. The government and opposition last night renewed battle over the $265 million National Investment Fund drawdown, with the latter demanding that the Davis administration give a full public accounting of every dollar used within 14 days. Oh, boy. Michael Pintard, the F&M leader, seized on the government's seeming lack of disclosure and transparency surrounding the movement and use of more than $250 million by asserting that Bahamians will no longer accept this on trust alone in the absence of a fulsome explanation of such transactions. The Marco City MP and opposition head again challenged whether the National Investment Fund's governance structure, as set out in the 2022 Act that created it, has yet been implemented, given that the unannounced use of the $265 million, leaving a balance of just $200,000, is, quote, impossible to reconcile with those stated objectives. However, Senator Latrey Ramming, the Prime Minister's communications chief, in a more explicit response than the one provided to the Tribune business section previously, said he'd been advised by the Ministry of Finance that the funds were primarily used to support the government's multi-million-dollar family island support upgrades. So the Ministry of Finance just won't talk to the public anymore. That's just how it works. Is that what's going on here now? This is a more direct reply than the primary. This is the primary use of the National Investment Fund was to support the government's airport infrastructure program, which was not totally clear on whether it was referring to the fund itself or the $265.3 million that it contained as recently as year-end 2025. The initial response was the primary use of the National Investment Fund was to support the government's airport infrastructure. Okay. Yeah, I get what he's saying. Is that why they created the fund, or was it just the money that was in the fund at the time? I get it. Okay. The government, in several instances, through public-private partnerships with private investors, developers, and contractors, has embarked on a wide-ranging nationwide program of airport upgrades in a bid to bring these facilities up to international standards, improve passenger convenience and comfort, and open up the Family Islands to direct international flights and increase tourism arrivals. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing to be doing, and we applaud the government for that. But no breakdown was given for how the $265 million has been allocated between the various airports and which have received what sums. But the drawdown size potentially signals that a significant portion may have been earmarked to kickstart the long-awaited Grand Bahama International Airport redevelopment. Other airport upgrades underway or imminent include Governor's Harbor and North Eleuthera, Georgetown in Exuma, Long Island's Deadman Key, and Bimini, and even Rum Key. Ramming acknowledged that the 2022 law sets out the National Investment Fund's governance structure, including a 5-member board of governors incorporating the Central Bank of the Bahamas representation, plus mandatory reporting on its financial position and withdrawals. However, he gave the opposition the same reply as Tribune Business, that it should await a report from the National Investment Fund, giving the necessary accounting and details on the use of the funds, quote, rather than drawing conclusions ahead of the statutory reporting process. So this is ramming again, saying that, quote, the Ministry of Finance advised that the funds were primarily used to support the government's airport infrastructure program. And again, he noted that the purpose had been previously announced when the $265.3 million, representing surplus proceeds from last year's $1.67 billion bond issue, were first injected into the National Investment Fund, such with its purpose and why the NIF was first established and is likely to draw little, if any, criticism. However, fiscal, is that right?
But how would we know that?
Did it say that there in what you're looking at? That was the purpose?
No, there's no airport specifically. Hold on.
Well, this is interesting. So the article goes on to say, fiscal observers have privately questioned to Tribune Business why the government was not more transparent over the National Investment Fund drawdown, given it's had ample opportunity to disclose this. The 26-27 budget was unveiled at the end of May, almost 2 months after the drawdown, which the Davis administration's own reports show occurred by the end of March 2026, thus giving it a fitting occasion to unveil the move.
Okay.
You found something?
So, Part 2 of the Act indicates that a National Investment Fund may be established for one of the following purposes: the development of national infrastructure and public improvement projects. So that speaks to the airport. Not specifically, but obviously in broad strokes. Because it's an infrastructure thing, right? It's national infrastructure. Public development advancement project related to the blue, green, and orange economy. What is the blue economy? To receive revenues derived from national assets and resources in public-private partnerships. To receive revenues derived from share ownership of the government and private companies. To receive revenues derived from royalty payments received from the exploitation of natural resources. Pursuant to the Biological Resources and Traditional Knowledge Act, to receive revenues derived from the trading of carbon credits and such other sovereign assets or activities as may be specified by the minister by order, subject to the affirmative resolution of both houses of Parliament. So there's a couple of interesting things in here, though, in terms of how this is supposed to work. One, they're supposed to have a website that the board is supposed to manage. If anybody's on the board is listening and you need somebody to build that website for you, just hit me up. Sorry.
Wow.
Shameless plug.
Oh my.
But they obviously don't have a website. Can't find one. And they are supposed to report quarterly and annually. So if it's been in existence for 4 years, even if there's no activity, you still should provide a report. Because why is this just now becoming a conversation? What's been happening with this fund for the last 4 years? Was it just non-existent before the injection from the bonds, I think, that they sold? They said they sold last year.
Very interesting stuff. Wow. So we've got a lot of text messages here before we move on. But this texter says here, our laws and rules might as well have been written on wet toilet paper. Nobody follows them. And they say some other words I cannot repeat on the air.
Probably some things to do with the wet toilet paper.
Well, you are right. This person says here, I want to know which 3 months the money was transferred out. And second, yeah, it was
Me too.
by March. It all
Interesting
happened
timing. I said nothing.
What? And secondly, the airports and not a brand new grid that the country needs. That's wild. Well, anyway, I mean, I'm sure. I appreciate your question. Investment fund means you want to get something out of it, right? When you put your money into it. If you put your money into... Anyway. As usual, y'all are making an issue out of nothing. Like Mr. Ramming explained during the six reports, the entire usage will be explained. I don't think any right-thinking Bahamian would question the upgrade and construction of new airports. See, this is what y'all do. You're very good at this. Y'all are really good.
So hold on.
Really
hold
good.
on.
See how they go?
No. So okay. Hear me out. Right, we are in August. Right? No. We're in August. See, I love doing this. It's August of 2026. Let's count: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. No, hold on, wait. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 8 months, right? How many months in the quarter, Dwight?
3.
Okay, how much months has been in the year? 8.
8.
7 and a little bit.
Yeah.
So by my count, there should have been, even if you late, at least one report so far, right? And that one report should have technically covered some portion of the 3 months in question when this money was removed, right?
Absolutely.
And every 6 months, these statements are supposed to be laid in Parliament. We're 7+ months into the year. So we skating with bulls?
Should have been at least one report.
Okay, all right.
Really, 2.
Okay.
Well, 3 if you call it 6 months. So, yeah, 0. But, yeah, of course, no one would question the airport. Yeah, sure. But you're not doing what you said you were going to do. And you're just moving things. And when people ask you questions, you tell them something rude, like wait for the report. And none of which have ever been produced in 4 years.
Has any of those financial statements ever been laid? Because if this has been in effect from 2022, that means there should by now have been anywhere between 6 to 8 of those reports, depending on when in 2022 this went into force.
I want to ask that texter how many people have access to his bank account. And if he's that trusting of everybody, who does?
That's interesting.
Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
And Mr. Wells, eh?
No, this is Alexis Burrows.
Mr. Burrows.
Morning. I guess I sound like Carter this morning.
Yeah, Dwight, Mr. Burrows. Is this investment fund the same fund that was and what they put in place after repealing the sovereign wealth fund?
Is it? It could be.
Yes, because like, if my memory serves me well, right? From the time this thing was put in place, this wealth fund, this investment fund was put in place. There was never no board put in place to manage this. What you call it? You guys know who's the chairman of the board for the investment fund?
No, we can't find any information.
That's because it don't exist. I don't know if you listened to Mr. Lang a couple of weeks ago when he was saying that how could you transfer $700 million because this new administration in their first 3 weeks becoming reelected, they moved $700 million from the fund, the government fund, the consolidated fund and transfer it to this investment fund.
Yes.
Right. And Mr. Lang was saying, well, how could you transfer this type of money to a place that don't have no board, and you need to have a board in order to transfer money because the board has to be responsible for the bank account. So this is quickly shaping up to be another slush fund because there's so much things that we needed. We shouldn't even have borrowed money for when we could move $700 million and put it inside this fund that nobody manage. It's only there to say we have a fund, right? But it's not legally being managed as a fund. There's nobody to answer to. In fact, when this fund was put in place, the only two persons at the time was responsible for the fund, and that was the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister, who happened to be one person at that time. But right, the same person, but only two names was responsible for this fund. Now we really have two physical persons rather than one person with two names. We have a Minister of Finance, and we really do have a Prime Minister responsible for this fund. Nobody else could question or ask nothing for this fund. This fund is shaping up, in my view, to be another government slush fund because, see, when you could transfer money and don't question it and then tell us, thank God for Mr. Lang, I just hope he heard it, because how you could transfer all that money, just sit it down there. We need ambulance, we need a hospital, we just borrowed over $200 million to build a hospital, but we could transfer $700 million and just put it inside. We have to keep our eyes on that money because something is seriously wrong, guys. You guys have a nice day.
Thanks a lot. All right, let's get to these messages before we take a break for news. This texter says here, asking some really good question. Where is the money we already got for airport infrastructure? The $55 million from Saudi Arabia for Luthra. We received financing from the IDB in 2020 for the airport UMA. The $1 billion drawdown from the UK credit agency, of which $400,000 was to go to Grand Bahama for the redevelopment of the airport. Where is all of that money? And they're using some other words I can't say on the air as well.
Colorful.
Wow. Another text here says, what does Ramming mean when he says the Ministry of Finance advised? Can a single ministry just take it upon themselves to move money, almost $300 million, from the investment fund with no knowledge of cabinet or the PM and do what they like? Because that is a weird thing to say, right? Ramming, I can't say the word, but he continues to spit in the face of every Bahamian citizen. Whoa. Okay. Boy. The questions continue. Well, the F&M says they need a full public accounting of every dollar used within 14 days. You think we're going to get it? Do you want to hold your breath on that?
I always, so when you say within 14 days, it sounds like there's an or else. What comes after the or else?
Yeah, well. And 14 days from when? From when they sent the letter first or from Latrell Ramming's explanation? Which one are we talking about here? Sometime in August, I guess. But, what comes next? Indeed. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're back after the news.
Coming around. 'Cause all my life I've been running around. Time for me to settle down. I need a lady that is sweet as candy to sweeten up my life. Don't need no troubles, too much in the past. I need a love that's surely gonna last to withstand the test of time.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with custom computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Here's a moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that can spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. We also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
Cool. I just paid my insurance premium online.
That is cool. But how about an insurance portal that does that and more? NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers gives you access to a full-service insurance portal where you can get an instant quote, renew, pay, and manage your documents. All fully online. With NUA, you have so much more than just a payment portal. You have a complete insurance portal. Start now with an instant quote at nuainsurance.com.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
I just sat down with a plate of chicken, peas, and rice. Reached for the TV, grabbed the remote. All of a sudden, darkness grabbed me by the throat. The fan stopped spinning, the fridge went still. I sighed and said, well, here's the bill, courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. 1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL. Find your flashlight, where could it be? Welcome to another blackout party. The neighbors all came outside to chat. Some blamed the weather, imagine that. The children crying no Wi-Fi today. Grandma wondering if the bill was paid. Mosquitoes smiling from ear to ear, saying the buffet is open here. Courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. You charge your phone to 103. 5 minutes later, you're back to fanning yourself with yesterday's memories. Oh, when the lights came back, we all started cheer like we just won the lottery. The TV blinks, the fan starts to spin. We shout, thank God we're back on again, but don't get comfy, don't settle in your seat, because you never know when it will repeat. Crying won't help, just smile, so raise your candles with me, wave them high with glee. Damn, the light's gone again, courtesy of BPL.
Tell you, AI's got a bright future. It's going to be if it's going to be like that, then I might change my.
Y'all thought Behemoths was creative before. That is hilarious.
Deserves an award. Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Alexis Burrows.
Faithful man.
It's we've been playing it every day. And again, this week things were not like last week. No. But as you said earlier, perhaps it's because it's been raining more and it's cloud cover and maybe it wasn't
cooler.
As sure. But don't get too comfortable, I think. But according to some people have been a bit harsh on BPL. A bit harsh and trying to create anxiety. That's what PLP chairman Fred Mitchell is saying. He's hitting out at the FNM and others for creating this anxiety and I guess hysteria, saying that it's not helpful and it doesn't help to solve our problems. He even addressed it in his voice note, his daily voice note. His voice note from today has some interesting things to say. Take a listen to this.
Thank you all for a fine time. On Tuesday, the 4th of August, 2026, the executive team of the Bahamas Power and Light Company spoke to the public at a press conference to help to explain the current state of play with regard to power generation in the country and in New Providence in particular. I concede that the power issue is vexing, uncomfortable, and should have been predictable given the state of science and technology today. But look, things happen. We have assembled the best team of Bahamian talent, both muscle and brain power, to fix the issue. One of these is Dario McKenzie, who is running the grid company, and in my view was being unfairly pilloried in the press for a remark that was certainly taken out of context about going to the beach. I spoke with him to offer my support because I know how these things go. This power situation is one of these times when you can't win for losing. Power cuts are terrible. The public is in a bad mood. But all we can do is fix the problem. No matter what you say, there's going to be someone saying something adverse to it. The team at BPL appears to be experienced and comfortable in their shoes to deal with this problem. The other unfortunate intervention, though, was by Whitney Hasty, the former BPL executive. His comments contradicting everything BPL said was not helpful, but seemed to come off like sour grapes. Let's all be positive in this situation. God bless you. God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. PLP, all the way.
Okay, Fred Mitchell there. So I need to get this straight, Alexis. So what is the deal? When one party is in power, we must all calm down and not get overworked and blow everything out of proportion. Stay calm. We're working on it. Just be grateful, be happy, try to be positive. But when other people are in power, oh my God, the world is ending. Is that what we're doing?
This strikes such a nerve for me. This is one of my biggest pet peeves about the world that we live in today, because this isn't exclusive to us, but we politicize every single thing. The challenge that we have with outages dates back years on years on years on years through successive different governments. Like, this is not... You cannot politically grandstand on this issue, because everybody's been in power and had the same issue, right? So politicizing it is always just a head scratcher for me, because it's not that. This goes beyond that. So it's silly when, especially if, and see, this is where you have to hold people to account. If we could go back, 6 years and find when the last set of power outages were, when, you know, the PLP was the opposition, and see if they were telling people to calm down based on whatever commentary. I'm just saying, like, we do this thing where we switch up our mouth depending on whether it suits us or not. And the issue is, it's just an issue that needs to be resolved. Like, whatever mechanisms, whatever work needs to be done, whatever it is, like, that people are not, they are going to be upset. You're in a bad mood. You're angry. You're frustrated. You're dealing with what feels like bills that are higher than normal, and then you're also dealing with power outages at the same time. So yeah, people are gonna have questions when they say, "Oh, my bill doubled," but then I had 2 like 8+ hour power outages last month. How is my bill doubled? These are the questions people have. So it's not as simple as just brushing it away like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." It's a big deal for people. Understand that when you have a power outage that lasts beyond 2 or 3 hours, you get into concerns of the things that are in your fridge, right? Whether they're still good or not, things that are in your freezer. It brings about a lot of angst for people. And you have a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck. All of these, this goes so much further than, you know, the power is out and who's responsible and who's not responsible and who we need to ease off of. At the end of the day, people are going to be concerned because, yes, if my power has been out from 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon and it comes back on, I now have concerns about what in my fridge is still good.
Yeah.
What in my freezer is still good.
Yeah.
And so we cannot oversimplify it as leave people alone. No, the public is going to want answers. They're going to want to know when is it going to be better.
Yeah.
Because every year it's like, we're prepared, and every year we're not prepared.
And you're talking about just members of the public, but the business community is saying the same thing. And they're losing thousands of dollars during these outages. And the same issues with spoilage. And when somebody eats something terrible from a restaurant and that restaurant gets sued and you have to go to the hospital,
but they can't
the challenges of that hospital.
They can't say the power was out, right? They can't come back and say that's at fault. They have to deal with that. And so when you consider all of this, I think, like, power is an essential thing. And we may act, you cannot act as though, you know, in some ways, yes, it's a privilege, but at the same time, it's not to the point where we can have these conversations where it comes across as though we don't care about what's happening. Because then what the public's going to say is, but if you living up in your house in some, you know, gated area with your generator, you're not going to feel this the way I do. Yeah. Especially, like, I have friends who have, like I said, young newborn kids. That's a nightmare, right? Because then even, like I said, you have to think about, I don't think, sometimes when our people, our representatives talk about these things, they don't think about it in the granular level at which it hits people when they have to deal with it as that individual. And I think that's where it becomes concerning sometimes how we talk about it and we politicize it and we get into this back and forth over who we should and should not. No, just fix it. Yeah. Like, just fix it.
So we want to hear from you in a bit, but I just want to read a couple of things. The statement that was issued yesterday by the PLP, right? And are we to assume Mitchell is responsible for this? I'm not sure, but and there's some interesting things in the NASA Guardian today as well. So let me read this statement. So yes, it is Fred Mitchell. Statement by the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party on public contradictions by the FNM on the power issues. This was issued yesterday. So it says, the PLP on this power issue believes the science and the advice of the Bahamian professionals who've been assembled to address both the legacy and future issues facing BPL. The comments of, listen to these names, the comments of Desmond Bannister, Whitney Hasty, Michael Barnett Ellis, Shannon Don Cartwright, Dwayne Sands, and then out of nowhere, Candia Dames. And last but not least, Michael Pintard. What now? Okay. Are interesting observations, nice history lessons, and the expected outrage from the opposition. We applaud them on those points, but we ask, how do these comments help solve our present problems? The short answer is that they do not help. Instead, they seem designed to undercut the work of the professionals on the job and create greater anxiety among the population. Instead of urging patience, they are exacerbating the situation. One thing is clear, every person I have listed either worked for, was part of, or supported the Hubert Minnis-led Free National Movement administration. Huh? including Dia Dames. You need to stop, Fred Mitchell. That's crazy. Anyway, isn't it interesting that having been divided over the general election, they've all come together over electricity blackouts? Wonders never cease. Now, what is happening? Okay. Another thing is equally clear. Whatever happened during their time in government and whatever they did, it did not stop what is happening today. That is straightforward historical fact. That is not about blaming them, but they did not fix the problem. The maxim is clear. Those who come to equity must come with clean hands. The Bible says, oh boy, the Bible says another way.
Please stop.
Oh boy. We must confess our sins. Confess our sins. God is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins. Ooh. Wow. We invite these effing partisans to accept. I got to stop now. I can't really read the rest. It's just draining. Anyway, as for BPL, let us leave that to the professionals. Let us give them an honest opportunity to fix the problem. We all appreciate how the system has underperformed. Let us encourage these professionals to get it fixed instead of undermining their efforts. I mean, just tune everybody out and do your job then. I mean, you can't let that get to you, right? If that's seriously what I can't function now because people are criticizing me because the power goes off every day. Huh? Wow. And the Guardian notes, and this is very interesting, that last week when it was really bad, Mitchell said everything was in a state of collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he said he was blaming the F&M for where we are. State of collapse. But this week, give the professionals a chance.
But
Stop complaining.
Because somebody commented, but y'all been in power for the last 5 years. So this is the thing when you play these games, like it becomes an issue because you can't talk about it this way, right? This administration is going to have an interesting time because I'll put it to you this way. I remember leaving a job and then hearing months and months and months after, oh, they're saying that this person is having a difficult time because Alexis left it in this bad way. And I'm like, I've been gone a year, That person needs to figure out what they're doing, right? And so that same thing that applies in those instances applies here. This has been the governing party for the last 5+ years. It's going to be difficult for any right-thinking Bahamian to stomach the idea of this is the previous administration's fault. Now, I go back to my earlier comment. This has been the issue for a number of administrations on both sides of the fence because we've had this issue for years. Mm-hmm. Everybody's at fault. I think that's what kind of I think annoys people when especially this issue comes up, right? Is that when the F&M has been in power, we've had power issues. And it doesn't matter. This is not a political. It doesn't matter who's in power in government. It's just this is the issue that we have. Mm-hmm. We have an outdated system that we've invested a whole lot of money in trying to maintain that rather than investing in doing something new and moving away from the old system. And so we have these legacy issues. And it's legacy issues. It's been happening for forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear from you. Let's get your reaction to all of this. And the political games that are being played over this power issue in the country. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Got a lot of your text messages. We'll get to those in a bit, but let's take this call. And again, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Let's take this call before Alexis tells us what he's discovered. Something's happening over there. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, cousin Dwight, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah, Grammy boy here. Dwight, let me tell you something, and to your guest and to the nation. I am so sick and tired of being sick and tired of the way our politicians and them treat us as Bahamians. It's like it's 350 to 400,000 donkeys walking around in this town. at their disposal.
What?
The lies, the deceit, the deceptions that these people put on us, Dwight, it really is sickening. Yeah, and we as Bahamians, we really need to be sick and tired of all of this nonsense. For almost 60 years, we got other cultures coming in this country, having it better than us, and almost taking over, and we sit near on do nothing seat as Bahamians doing absolutely nothing. Take Michael Pindar. I will just touch on your first thing. That first caller was, and y'all was 110% on the right track. You understand? I don't know what Mr. Michael Pindar, the leader of the opposition, is asking for explanations for. When the NIF was introduced, it repealed the Sovereign Wealth Fund that was intended for all Bahamians. Michael Pindar knows that only one person, according to the rules in the House of Assembly, with that fund, was able to deal with that. The rest of the politicians were given an ultimatum that if you speak about this, you would get either $100,000 fine or 5 years in prison. Michael Pindar knows that. And when we wanted to find out who voted, how the vote went in the House to repeal the Sovereign Wealth Fund, the vote was unanimous. Everybody voted for that fund. So Michael Pindar knows exactly what the deal is with that. I really sick and tired of these politicians lying and deceiving the Bahamian people. Thanks for taking Grammy Boy call, Dwight.
Okay. Boy, if not, I don't know about.
So
I don't even know what to say. I don't know if any of that is true, and if I've not heard any of that before, but some of you are okay.
So the last FNM administration was from 2017 to 2021, right?
Oh boy. Mm-hmm.
Do I have that right? Yes.
Yes.
So June. August 2019, leader of the opposition at the time, Davis issues formal statement on the current load shedding crisis. Davis complained that after BPL's explanations, the power is still off and there's no end in sight to the power cuts. He argued that the lack of predictable electricity was preventing people from managing their businesses and was harmful to the economy.
Who was saying that?
The leader of the opposition at the time, the current PM.
Was he not being supportive of the professionals?
Davis blames BPL management, government decisions for the crisis.
Oh, boy.
Argued that BPL's management decisions contributed to fires at Clifton, Pierre, Blue Hill, and Bimini. Daily load shedding was disrupting Bahamians' lives and threatening the national economy. Further, there's a lot of conversation about this in August, but I remember this was a rough go. But yeah, so this is the difficulty of playing this kind of game.
Yeah. So you see how
there are statements that exist when you're in the opposition that sound exactly like Pintard's statements.
This is like a play. So you have the understudy when the main actor isn't there, and you just repeat the same lines. And or maybe you've taken over. You were in the role for 4 years, and then a new actor takes over the role. And so you just play the part.
Just
and it's
playing
the
the
same
hits,
thing.
as they say.
So when your people are on, please be patient. Please come on. And then when you're not, they don't.
And it was that's the thing. Direct criticism of the management. It's just like I said. It's funny the way we do this.
No respect for the Bahamian professionals.
Like I told you, it goes back to and let me tell you something. I will say this. I imagine working at any of these providers is a very difficult thing because I imagine we do have talented experienced people in these roles trying to do the work and trying to keep the power on because they have to go home to the power being off too if it's off, right? Yeah. So I imagine that this is very difficult for them and kudos to them, everybody who's working hard to try and keep the power on consistently. But like I said, it goes back to this idea of it's my turn now, so let's be chill about it, let's be patient. And then the flip side of, well, now it's not my turn, and so everything is going to hell in a handbasket.
Are you tired of the performances?
Well, like I told you, this is a big pet peeve for me, the way we politicize things, and instead of like get to the point, fix it. Let's move past all of the skating with wolves, and let's get to the point of fixing it.
Groundhog decade. That's how we are living. It's the same thing on repeat.
Every 5 years.
Yeah. Caller, good morning. You're live.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. I hope you can hear me because this phone seems to be going in and out. But Dwight, I wanted to comment earlier on the movement of the fund. You know, the former Minister of Aviation, the DPM Cooper, and somebody had texted and spelled that they borrowed funds from the Saudis to deal with the airport. And the minister said that they were diverting the funds to the Grand Bahama Airport. And I haven't heard of any that's going on in regards to Grand Bahamas Airport and what is happening there. You know, I don't think we will ever get FOIA implemented under this government. We're going to another 4.5 years once the Prime Minister, whether this is a priority or Mr. Mitchell, you know, he's going to say the same thing. This is not a priority for the government to be transparent and for people to know what's going on. They passed the Procurement Act and whatnot, and you know, we've had almost $500 million in no bid contracts, and they just seem to don't care because they know that Bahamian people, once they can throw them some vouchers and some other things, that they're going to vote for them. And like Alfred Gray said, as long as Bahamians are working and they can do what they want to do, they really don't care how the government operates. And that is the sad state that we're in today, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, especially if they are affiliated with the party. They certainly don't seem to care too much. No. And that goes across the board, right? This texture says here, I'm not surprised at what is transpiring. Too much brown-nosing and too much passiveness. No accountability for anything. Give it a few weeks and all will be forgotten and forgiven. Then it's on to whatever can magically disappear next. It's called transparency. Wow. Hey, how can I download that BPL song? Yeah, if everybody loves it. It's quite
Find
something.
it on your favorite streaming platform.
Well, I don't know, but it is worthy of. It'll put a smile on your face, even in a blackout. Hey, this person says, "If Fred Mitchell needs to take several seats, businesses need power to operate. We can't afford to go to no beach when we have to pay BPL's high expensive bills.
I love that phrase.
We have to make money." BPL is not only destroying appliances, they're destroying the middle class who do business. Many will shut down because of this. Remember, they said Bahama will melt BEC. Now this. Tell them EV owners to go to the beach, don't drive nowhere. No, okay, that's ridiculous. And all the public beaches are inaccessible because they sold them to foreigners who don't want Bahamians on them. And crime is high. My daughter and I must sit on the beach and become the victims of crime. That's a lot. That was a whole lot there just now, texter. Yikes. This texter says, Dwight, we collectively, caller, we'll get to you in a second. Collectively, we need to stay focused. The issue is corruption. None of the problems we face are new. PMH, BPL, roads, etc. The problem is corruption. Who is accounting for so much money that has been spent for so long on each of these for us to still be where we are at? The FNM and the PLP are responsible for where we are, and now that we have shown we don't want accountability, as this election has shown us, the tit-for-tat game will continue to play on. Okay. Texter says here, the FNM will not harness the PAC, the Public Accounts Committee, to investigate, and the PLP will rely on the minions and spin masters to deflect. People don't want to hear about the COI, but the corruption they addressed is real, and we don't want to change it. Again, the opposition is going to say they're handicapped with the PAC, right? They're not being they're not given the access to the information they want and the people they want to talk to. So there are lots of issues there. Sounds familiar. It's just like the press. The people are ghosting us and avoiding and not making themselves accessible. You know, we'll see. We'll see if it's just maybe the summer. You know, people take vacation in the summer, but we will see how things look in a few weeks. This texture says here, between you and me, first thing in the morning, you are grilling them. Those on the receiving end of your commentary are not going to have a great day. Well, I don't know. I mean, do they listen?
will.
I don't
They
know if they
probably don't
care
care.
anymore. I don't think they care. They just they've already painted talk shows as being negative, and those people are just grumpy because they're not on any boards or they don't have this.
The people just want answers because it's not.
But I mean, the people in power. That's how they have painted us to their, as he said, minions. And so a lot of people aren't paying attention anymore to what is being said here.
I think the challenge is that the public wants answers, and if you don't have answers, you can't put yourself in front of the public to be asked questions.
Yeah, well, they're still doing it and saying even more upsetting things, right? They're not giving answers, but they're upsetting you at the same time and pointing to all kinds. Look at that thing over there, right? And everybody's like, and paying attention to that and over that, and still in literal darkness on these issues.
No, but I had somebody I realized was looking through statuses, and somebody had 7.5 hours of a power outage yesterday at their home.
Oh, yesterday. So we're saying things are better, but not for
No,
everybody.
so what it is see, and that's the other thing. We talk about it when it's island wide, right? But you have certain pockets and areas. So, like, for example, I have someone that I know personally very well, and they live in an area where their power situation is sketch. So you could have an island wide power outage, and they would be off for like an extra 4 hours. And it's always only them, right? And so the same thing is like everything seems to be fine. Yesterday they had an almost 8-hour power outage, and this is consistent. And like so we will have the island wide. Everybody's complaining, and then it's like 2 or 3 days later, this person's like, "Well, yeah, mine just went off again for another 4 or 6 hours." And so that's the other thing. It's not just when it's island wide, right? Or when because you have people where, because of the peculiarities of their location, either the way the lines are on, whatever it is, they have like, so that area, they have a consistent issue.
Oh my, wow. Let's hear from the callers. Callers keep calling in. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. This texter says here, I totally agree. BPL does have legacy issues. And yes, from a scientific point, the heat does compound the issue. But I think if we had a proper program for maintenance, we would not see all that we're seeing right now, I guess they're trying to say. Yeah.
Is it maintenance or is it upgrades, though? Right? Because it's like, if you understand, if you're trying to maintain something, I'm not sure the exact age of this, right? But let's think about it in technical terms. So let's use computers as an example, right? If you have an Apple computer, if you have a Mac, right, and you bought it in 2000 and let's say 15, right? You're approaching a point where you're out of the software update cycle, which means you're not able to update to the latest software, which means other programs that you use on that computer may also not be able to be updated.
Right.
So no matter what maintenance you do, you can't, like, you are stuck with, 2024 technology, and you might be in now 2028, right? As an example. So it might not be maintenance. It might be there's a need for an overhaul, right? And so I don't know. I don't know. It might be maintenance, but when people talk about it, they're talking about you're trying to maintain a system that, from what I understand, is outdated.
Antiquated, yeah.
Right. And so therefore there needs to be a plan for how do you move away, like realistically, like move away from the legacy issues, not pie in the sky, but like what is the actual strategic plan to move from we have this issue to we're now completely dissolved ourselves from how we were doing generation or transmission and distribution or supply, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now.
Sadly, with BPL, we suspect it's all the above. So it'll be everything. Maintenance, moving towards modern for the 21st century, maybe even 20th century.
We have all the sun. Why we can't just have, why can't the whole country just be powered by the sun?
There's an answer to that question. I don't think you want the answer, but I mean,
Money?
there are limitations. But you need a balance, and BPL they have the plan. They have a plan. You need a good balance of the types of energy you use, right? You need a balance of still fossil fuels with the renewables, but they're moving very slowly on that. They have a goal for 2030, but 2030 is very close, very, very close. And we, New Providence especially, caller coming to you in a second, New Providence especially may be outpacing what that plan had stated a few years ago.
Well,
And
the
they need to
challenge
really
is
look at that.
we have overcrowding, right? Like we have way too many people living in New Providence, and so
that's true.
That will burden the grid.
We don't have a planned. We don't have a plan for this island. We don't have overcrowding. I mean, there are many smaller islands with much greater populations. But because we are
75% of the country lives here.
Yes, that's crazy. That's crazy. But we still are not overcrowded.
We in Andros is like we're not the largest. Nassau is not the New Providence is the largest island in the country. So if you have 3/4 of the population living, on a 7 by 21 rock.
Yeah, that's insane. But look at Manhattan. It's a smaller island than New Providence with millions of people on it.
But they plan.
They have a plan. That's what I'm saying. We don't have a plan. Everybody's doing their own thing around here, right?
No, whatever, buck up, go.
Exactly. Caller, what say you? Good morning, you're live. Hi, good morning. Are you there? Caller, good morning, you're live on the air. Everyone's...
Good morning and pleasant day.
Hi.
Indeed, the plan.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether the National Development Plan made accommodation for that. And
for what?
Why aren't we going by plans? Not plans for government or a term, but plans for the country. I also want to know what is the salary scale range of that person who is asking us to go to the beach. I'm certain he's not being paid minimum wage.
Probably more than the three of us combined.
Probably 6 figures. Easily.
Well, you know the answers to these questions. The National Development Plan, it's not there. We don't have the plan here. We're planning the plan, right? So we have a whole lot of work to do. We haven't set out what we want to do. We know that we want to have a plan and that we want to plan out our future. But we don't have the plan yet. And so we're in the process of that. So... But that's moving slowly as well.
It's also just it's the territorial nature of politics, right? You can't run with the other guy's plan. So it's always, and I guess in some ways, it's like it would make you hopeful that if you have a government that has a back-to-back term, that things that were discussed, planned, promised would actually be able to come to fruition because you have 10 years to actually get it done as opposed to the 5 years in and out that we had been doing in the past. But, we do this thing where, well, it was the other guy's idea, so we have to go and tweak it and make it our own and then come back to it. And so you keep going into this back and forth where this is why the plan never gets instituted. And even when it is, you go back and be like, oh, we can't do that the same way. Like I always go back and I look at urban renewal as like the thing that I go back to. Urban renewal is a great program. And when the Christie administration lost the election, the FNM came in, urban renewal just was not the same. And it's because it wasn't your idea, but it's something that was very beneficial to the public at large. You had community centers where people would be able to go, like, and we just acted as though, well, it wasn't my idea, and so we're not going to treat it the same way. And this is what happens. Yeah. And so we have to start. We have to stop politicizing everything. Sometimes something is just a good idea, and you should just continue the idea regardless of whose idea it was first.
Absolutely. All right, we've got more of your messages coming in, and we'll take this into the business hour and more issues to talk about on this Friday morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're going to be back after news headlines and let you listen to this again.
Sat down with a plate of chicken, peas, and rice. Reached for the TV, grabbed the remote. All of a sudden, darkness grabbed me by the throat. The fan stopped spinning, the fridge went still. I sighed and said, well, here's the bill, courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. 1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL. Find your flashlight, where could it be? Welcome to another blackout party.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, Air, the Athlete's Foot, and BTC, Games and more, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Keeping your savings safe and sound. If a bank falls down, your money still comes round. Deposit insurance, trust that never fades. DIC protects the funds that you work hard to.
The Deposit Insurance Corporation, protecting your savings. Want to learn how? Call 302-2681 or email info@dic.bs.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, August 7th, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Alexis Burrows, and we're going to be talking about a few things in this hour. Talking about BPL, more on BPL, but also some other issues in the news, including a highly anticipated trial. We're going to get into that this morning. Okay, so we've been talking about BPL, talking about the statement from the PLP chairman Fred Mitchell, who's saying that, the criticisms, all these negative comments, not helping the Bahamian management teams at BPL and BGC, and that we need to give everybody a time to fix these problems and don't blow these issues out of proportion. But of course, and Alexis reminding us what was being said when the PLP was in opposition and how they were very critical of BPL management team and the decisions they were making when they were having outages and fires and load shedding, all those things. So we're wondering, what is up with politicians? Why are they like this? What is this about? It's just amazing. Calm down. When I'm in charge, everybody don't blow this out of proportion. You've got your agendas. But when you're in opposition, everything is just going to hell. I mean, again, that's not a Bahamian thing. That's all over the world, but it is exhausting. It is exhausting, and we're stuck because very little gets done, it seems, no matter what. And we've been dealing with BPL for decades.
It's so funny.
Decades.
Because before the election in 2017, Davis, who was the minister responsible for BPL and the DPM at the time, asked Bahamians for patience, and saying that there was tremendous improvement on the power. You remember Power Secure? On the Power Secure?
Yeah, I remember them.
And then once...
And there really were improvements on the Power Secure. There really were. Compared to where we were. And then right after they were kicked out, then it went bad again.
Yep. So
And
from
it's just
so
wild.
that was January, and by the time we got to August of 2018, Davis is blaming the Minnis administration. Well, this goes to my other point for abandoning the former PLP government's BPL strategy. So this is the thing. Like I say, if there was something that's working and you move away from it because it wasn't your idea,
Right.
so that we do have that challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, then
And
2019
the pattern continues. It's just on and on and on.
And then, like I said, 2019 is when it got really, he was really lighting into them. But, you know, it's amazing to see the flip-flop. Within a year's time, we saw the flip-flop from be patient to this is the Minnis administration's fault.
Yeah.
And this is just what we do. Rather than focus on actually fixing the issue, we just go, it's not it's just be patient. Oh, let's light a fire. But then what's sitting in the background is regular everyday Bahamians dealing with 8-hour power outages from their perspective, no apparent reason.
Right. And then people will point towards the end of the Minnis administration when there were very few outages. But of course, we were on lockdown and people weren't going to work and we didn't have the hotels and we didn't have all of this.
Yeah, I saw someone saying it's amazing how we didn't have power outages during the lockdowns, but I think I think that's a misunderstanding
Very much
as to
so.
where a lot of our load comes from.
Absolutely.
Right? A lot of businesses were closed and were on shortened hours, even with what was open. Some people, if you had multiple locations, you might only had one location open because people were working remotely, all of these different things. So it is different.
Very different.
I don't think that's an apples to apples comparison.
Not in any way, shape,
and
or
I don't
form.
think people being at home necessarily led to more usage. It probably was in terms of the grid. So you might have had more household usage, but a lot less commercial usage.
Absolutely.
And obviously commercial usage would be a lot higher.
And by that time, that administration had put in that hedge, and so you weren't paying those exorbitant fuel prices in your bill. Unlike now, where 2/3 of your bill will be for fuel, at least my bill. So it's crazy. It's crazy what's been happening to all of us, and it's under every administration. There are challenges, many challenges, and BPL is still stuck with that old equipment and debating whether it's management or the antiquated and maintenance antiquated equipment when we know it's all of the above. It's everything. It's old and it's hard to maintain because they probably can't find parts, and the people who used to fix it are probably dead. And who knows?
Yeah, I agree with the tax who said they should have taken the $265 million and applied it to the power issues.
Need a lot more.
Probably ain't enough.
Exactly. They need a whole lot more. Let's take this call before we get to some of these messages and another story we want to read on BPL in the paper today. Good morning, caller. Are you still there?
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Hi.
Yes, I'm a first-time caller, Dwight. I listen to your show every morning.
Good morning.
I
Welcome.
just wanted to correct a statement that was made with regard to urban renewal. Under the F&M, urban renewal was not canceled. In fact,
I don't think he said it was
improved.
canceled. He didn't say it was canceled. He said it was changed.
It was changed for the better. I've had relatives who worked in the different constituencies where the urban renewal was set up. And kudos to Dr. Minnis, who actually implemented the Over the Hill White Paper program to help small business people. So urban renewal was not canceled. It might have been tweaked, but the F&M improved some things with regard to urban renewal. Also, the school lunch program was started under the Minis administration. So I think we need to maybe research things a little bit more before we make statements on the national radio. Make sure.
But
that we
ma'am,
have
no one mentioned the lunch program. I don't think. Did you mention that? And he said he didn't say it was canceled. He said it was changed. And I'm sure it'll be debatable whether it was better. Everyone will have their own opinions on these things. So, but yes, everyone needs to research everything and listen carefully when people talk. How about that too?
But at the same time, you're saying it was tweaked, but then you went into a different program. The Over the Hill White Paper program was a different program. Was that urban renewal? Was it under urban renewal? Or was it their way of saying, hey, this is our thing that we're doing that's like urban renewal-esque? And
that was an interesting plan.
Fair point. Like
that has been.
I can go and do more research, but I know from what I understand, and it wasn't that it was canceled or it wasn't operated the same way.
But the point that you were making and throw out change things that were working before, and that was the whole point. And like I said, that plan you're talking about, the Over the Hill thing, that was a decent plan, but that's been.
Right, but it also
flushed down the toilet.
But you can't use that as a defense when you're using something that's a different plan from urban renewal. You're proving my point.
But ma'am, I appreciate you for calling in. Hopefully, it won't be your last time, even though we don't agree with what you said. All right, so another story on BPL in the business section today. This is interesting. BPL secures critical $1 million transformer from Egypt. They have money. I know they're paying Bahamas Grid a whole lot of millions every month, but okay. BPL says this will ensure that we provide a stable, reliable grid. Archester Robards writing about it. So Bahamas Power and Light has turned to an Egyptian engineering company for a critical transformer that costs more than $1 million. The 70-ton transformer, manufactured by Elswedi, I think that's how you pronounce it, Electric, is expected to play a key role in strengthening New Providence's electricity grid, according to a CNN report.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, so they don't want to tell the Bahamian people this? We learned that from CNN.
Y'all just watch CNN. Sorry. You don't watch CNN, Dwight? You don't go on CNN.com?
Oh, boy. The report comes following recent widespread outages and ongoing infrastructure challenges. Bahamas Power and Light's COO, Anthony Christie, said in the CNN report that the transformer is essential to improving reliability for a significant portion of the island. When was this report? Because was this brought up at the press conference on Tuesday? This was coming, or that would have been a good time to tell the people. Anyway, okay. Christie said, "quote This transformer, in particular, will ensure that we provide a stable, reliable grid in order for us to maintain supply to our customers on about a third of the island."
Sorry.
We need this new transformer to be installed on the grid. He noted that the project represents a major investment.
So why hold on.
CNN report.
Hear me out. Why they couldn't take $3 million to get 3 transformers so that they could, be consistent supply
the
for
3/3.
the 3/3 of the island.
No, which third? Right? Does CNN say which third of the island is going to be? And Christie added...
It probably starts with a W.
What? Christie added, quote, "It's over $1 million, and it required not only the purchase of the equipment, but also the logistics and other components involved in order to get it here."
Why me and buy a tree, Dwight? Why we didn't buy a tree?
Does this come up on Tuesday at the press conference when everyone was there?
Why did we not buy 3?
I don't understand this. The report profiles Elswedi Electric, which was formed in 1938 and has evolved from a local Egyptian trading company into a global infrastructure supplier.
All my tires busted, Dwight, but I only buy one.
Well, if that's all you can afford. While Transformers remain, but the $265 million went to airport work.
The paper is sitting there right with the 265 on it as I had to point to it.
Very strange. Very strange. While Transformers remain a core product, the company has also become a major manufacturer of electrical cables and other power infrastructure equipment, serving markets across Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and the Americas. Elswedy Electric Vice President Mohammed Elswedy,
family business.
Yeah, boy. Said Egypt's manufacturing sector has become increasingly competitive internationally. He explained that the Bahamas project represents an important milestone for the company as it seeks to expand further into this region. Nice. Elsewhere, said, quote, the Bahamas project for us was like a reference to prove that we are up to the standard.
Oh boy. Now I get it.
And up to the quality.
It all makes sense.
And up to the quality to start opening more projects on that side of the world. Guinea pig?
You said it.
So if anything happens, the people won't notice because it's always been bad. Right?
Oh, man.
Okay. Christie revealed that the BPL engineers traveled to Egypt to inspect the transformer before it was shipped to Nassau. Man. Wasn't brought up on Tuesday?
Flew it out.
Seriously? That would have been a good time to say, hey, everybody, at least a third of y'all going to not have any problems soon.
No, because the question would then be when. You have to have answers to the questions that come, right? So you do it this way, right? And you don't have to answer any of the questions.
This is better information than go to the beach. Come on now. Right?
Well, it was in the BPL. People who said go to the beach.
That's true. And we do again wonder why they're talking at all, those other folks. Although we wanted them to talk. We were really hoping they would, but now that we hear what they have to say, don't talk. Christie, I think this is, I guess, still from the CNN report. Yes. We sent a team of 5 persons on a factory acceptance test. Wow. So they got to go to Egypt and they got to see it in place before it was shipped. Our team worked well with the OEM. That's the original equipment manufacturer, yes. And to make sure that all the specs were there, all the information was shared so that when it got to the port, we could actually move it. Oh, my. Feeling confident? Feeling good? Christie suggested that the relationship between BPL and Elswedy Electric could continue as the utility modernizes its transmission network. So maybe they don't want the 3 at all one time, so they could see if there are any growing pains with this one. And then like, hey, that one worked, so let's get another one, please. And then later next year, maybe I'll get a third. What do you think? Anyway, so Chrissy suggests yes.
They auditioning. Maybe this is Pike 2.0.
They said, no, I can't do 3 right now. Let me just do 1 for you, and then we'll see.
Like I told you, I have 4 busted tires, but I only buy 1.
Because you want to make sure the one actually works. Yeah. Christie said, quote, we need many more transformers. There you go, see? So there may be...
Who is the Christie person?
This is the COO, Chief Operating Officer.
Of PPL?
Yes, nice guy, Christie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said, quote...
Where's the CEO? Where's the CEO in all of this? Okay.
She's there. Christie said, quote, we need many more transformers, so there may be a need to reach out to them again and work with them in order to ensure we have the equipment we need. Alexis has his hand up if you're not watching on the video stream.
I have a question.
Okay. Yes,
sir.
You
may need.
The
statement says that this will help a third. You know you need. And
this might third in 2026. By next year,
this might sound
might be a
flippant
quarter
to say it this way, right? Like it might sound flippant to say it this way, but it's only $1 million. You can't buy 3.
Got to make sure I tell you. But like I said, with the development on this island, a third this year, a quarter next year, and only an eighth in 2 years. So they might need more than 3. But let's see. So he says, yeah, they may need to come back to them. Elsewhere, he said the demand for transformers and other power infrastructure is expected to continue growing globally. Maybe they can only do one at a time.
Infrastructure.
Driven by the expansion of electric... Now, not this again. Oh, boy. Driven by the expansion of electric vehicles...
Be consistent.
Data centers... and increasing electricity consumption over the next decade.
I don't think data centers is us. I don't think we have data centers to that degree.
Data centers came up several times this week, so something may be up. I don't know.
Oh, that's fun.
But that's hilarious, right? Of all the places in the world,
To have a data center.
the Bahamas, where they don't have the power on all the time, it's very, very strange. The only place worse would be Cuba. It doesn't make any sense. And Elswetty's comments on EVs.
Hey, you don't want to smoke with Cuba. Leave Cuba alone.
Elswetty's comments on EVs come as Bahamas Grid Company CEO Dario McKenzie faces criticism for his insistence that the installation of EV chargers should be reported to the Ministry of Works, saying it was a substantial drain. Co-founders of Easy Car Sales, Pia and John Farmer, said in response to the comments that the electricity consumed by a typical electric vehicle is relatively modest compared to other household appliances. There have been talks by the government about the development of data centers. See, I told you. In the Bahamas, strains on electrical infrastructure. So we are really dreaming big and out of our minds. Yes, sir.
We ain't a candidate for that, man. We are not a candidate for data centers.
The government is pushing it as
we
they
are
were
not
pushing.
we are not a
as
candidate.
they've been pushing EVs. So and space travel and living under the sea. This is what the Bahamas is going to be pushing. All the things you thought could never happen. This is what we're going to be into, it seems. Let's get your reaction to that. Very interesting.
We could power the data centers and then have everybody else eating canned food because the power can't stay on. Gotcha. Understood. That's where we headed.
Better not have an electric can opener.
Everybody, your arm like Popeye from opening corned beef and tuna.
Let's get your reaction. The interesting story, again, hearing about it from a CNN report. And I really do think Tuesday would have been a great time to bring this up.
Maybe they travel to Egypt on Wednesday.
No, he was right. Oh, you mean after the press conference?
Perhaps.
Huh. No. They went there to make sure that it could be imported and it would fit. You remember?
Yeah.
So that didn't just happen.
Yeah, man.
No, man.
They catch one of them teleportation flights to Egypt. They can tell you about that because it didn't happen yet.
Wow. Encouraging information. Wish we had heard about it before.
Is it encouraging?
Yeah.
Is it encouraging for somebody to say we're going to buy something that's going to help a third of our customers and not all?
It's better than none.
Is it?
Yes. Now, again, we'd like to know more. Which third? Who will this benefit? The people who have been having lots of issues. There's a whole bunch of people having more issues than others right now. The western end of New Providence has really been taking a hit. A few years back, it was the eastern end. Y'all didn't seem to care then. But western end's taking it, and it's bad. It's been very, very bad. Will it be the western end? Who will it be? Will it be random? You put it in.
You know
and
what we should do? You know what they should do? No, you know what they should do? They should have a competition, like Hunger Games style, and like you divide the island into thirds, and you be like, everybody send a tribute to the games, and whoever tribute wins, they get the transformer for their third of the island.
I feel we've already started the Hunger Games here, but okay.
No, let's lean all the way into it.
Go into it. Okay. Will we get more information, or will we have to wait for CNN to tell us which third it will be? Let's hear from you. The phone lines are lit up. Let's take the calls. You know the numbers: 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're live.
Dwight, am I hearing correctly? Did EVs just drop out of the sky yesterday? I mean, we've been at this for 10 years, and now they're trying to accommodate. They're saying they're getting a transformer to accommodate EVs. Explain this to me.
Well, that's not what he
I'm
said.
I'm
that's
confused right now.
the Egyptian representative saying that transformers are in high demand because people are using more electricity, especially since the expansion of EVs and data centers.
And Dwight, with these data centers, not only do they need immense power to run these computers, they got to keep these computers cool. So what's going to happen when?
Well, that's just dreaming.
When the power goes off in our sweltering 95-degree heat. I'm really confused right now.
The servers are going to melt.
I mean, I don't know if we should be paying as much attention to that as because that's just some high pie in the sky dreaming.
When we revisit this conversation in 2 summers, because we all been operating with candles because we turn into data center central.
I can't imagine.
So we're talking about accommodating data centers when we can't even accommodate cars.
That's what I'm saying. This is just somebody with a bright idea. They heard that it's happening in the other parts of the world, and like we'd be good for that. We got a lot of space on some of these islands, right? And
realize that they need increased infrastructure for electric vehicles. A global trend that has been happening for a decade now. Really, we need to stop being so reactive to things and really truly plan because it's getting a little bit old. You know, it's 10 years ago, 2016. You remember BEC? When they brought in Power Secure, when they brought in these El Gracos and the generators were popping for, like popcorns, and they couldn't get the generation up. Now 10 years later, we're grappling with the same issues over and over again, and now they're acting like EVs just dropped out of the sky. We got to go accommodate them. Yeah, really.
Very interesting stuff. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate the call. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're live on the air. Hi. Turn on your radio, please.
Hey, great show as usual, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Hey, a quick question, right? You didn't call Labo or Foxhill being the one to it? Because I think they should drop that either Coral Labo or Foxhill, right? And then I could report to the nation every 2 summers if the generators are actually, if the transformers are actually working, and then he could buy more. Then they could go buy more generators.
Now you see, that's very interesting because they're nowhere near each other. Why? How would it work like that? I mean, maybe it can. I don't know.
I mean, live Foxhill. I live now Coral Labo.
Being selfish.
So now if they drop it in Foxhill, right? And people in Coral Harbor getting jam, I could go buy mommy.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right. So I be a little selfish on this right now.
Right. Well, you definitely are.
See, Dwight, you live by the beach, so you don't need no electricity. You have the salt water right there.
I don't know how you know that, but okay. Thank you very much.
So this is I try to do research so we have intelligent conversation, right? So the interesting thing about EVs, each individual EV might not draw significant power on its own. Right. Mm-hmm. It seems like the challenge that we would have is when typically people charge their EV, right? So you go out to work, you come home, anywhere between 5, 6, 7 o'clock, everything is turning on, right? So the EV is charging, the central air is on. If you're doing a load of laundry and everybody's doing this at the same time, that collective load becomes the issue.
Yeah. So the issue is not the EV. The issue is that you cannot handle peak demand. Right. The grid is the problem.
That's the issue. Whether it's generation, transmission, distribution, or supply, it's on that side of the equation.
Right.
I think the challenge that people are bringing forth is we've been pushing, and by we I mean the leadership of the country has been pushing this EV thing for a while. Like they've made changes to taxation to accommodate all of these different things. So take it a step further. Okay, so do you offer like lower rates at different times in order to encourage people to do charging later in the night or like in the day, or like you find a way to make it make sense? If we're a ways away from fixing whatever the infrastructure issues are, right? Then incentivize it in a different way.
But this is
that way you spread out the usage so all of the demand isn't at the same time.
This is exactly what we were talking about a couple days on the show. BPL said they were going to do this. They were going to devise and let you know the peak times, the off-peak times,
Right.
when it would be good, incentivize you, lower rates to charge during off-peak hours. That was something they talked about 5 years ago. Where is that? Where is that plan? Where do things stand with that? They were in talks with IRCA, they said, at the time. And right, the CEO was on this show and said that. And then he left.
Is it the same
No,
CEO?
of course not. He left, and now everything changed. Same thing that's the theme of the show today.
But this is the issue. We things just change. We change people, we change governments, and then everything. Okay, I'm gonna clarify that urban renewal is not abandoned, but things get abandoned, right? Or tweaked in a major way just to say, well, it's mine and it's not yours.
Yeah.
But then things fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
And so that I just feel like if the infrastructure issues are a long-term fix, then what are short-term solutions that we can take to help people out? Because there's sense in trying to push for like electric vehicles, like fine, but then make it make sense in terms of the overall, just understanding the entirety and the complexity of the challenges that we face, and then approach it wholesale, not in this compartmentalized way where it's like, we want EVs, but oh crap, it's screwing up the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, make it make sense.
But they also don't have to say to show that is what is going on,
Mhm.
But it's just something to say to get people to blame somebody else for the problem, as opposed to the fact that we have maintained this horrible grid.
No, but who are you blaming? The government is incentivized moving to electric vehicls.
That's why it was a foolish thing to say. As foolish as go to
Because
the beach.
you literally pointing, people say, you point the finger at somebody and there's 4 pointing back at you.
Yeah.
It's like, that's literally what you did.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Not at all. This texture says here, it's really simple, Dwight. Dogs bark, politicians politics. Okay, nothing surprising. They also say when most EVs charge at night, most businesses are closed. So I don't know if that's when most charge. That's what many residential owners do. But you will see people charging.
But I'm
every
not
day.
certain that most businesses are closed. So if you think about it, people get home between 5 and 7. Food stores are still open. Gas stations are still open. The hotels are still open. Restaurants are still open. What you have is professional service operations are closed. So banks, law firms, insurance companies, investment companies, mom and pops maybe type facilities, but for the most part, those aren't necessarily your big power users either. It is going to be things like restaurants and hotels, grocery stores. Those are open in most instances. The main ones are open till 8, and you have the smaller food stores that are still open till like 9, 10 o'clock, depending on. So that's not entirely true, right?
And we can't say that most charge at night. We don't know.
No.
It might be preferable, but some people just can't.
Well, that's true. I mean,
it's complicated.
It is complicated. I wanted to say something that was going to be very off just now, but yeah, we'll keep it classy.
Wow. This text says here, buying 3 would make too much sense. Don't forget we live in La La Land. The Bahamas is not a real place. Oh, boy.
It's a circus.
They told CNN the facts because they knew they couldn't BS them. Well, I don't think they told them all the facts. They told them some things. But at least they told them something. But anyway, they have no respect for Bahamian reporters and the wider public, so they just tell us a bunch of nonsense. Well, I think nonsense is spread around, but it's a different type of nonsense, right? Because again, 1/3 leaves a lot of information unclear and unsaid, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? Who? And can you be selective with your third? Can they
Like I told you.
maybe they can. Maybe they can determine who in this third will get
Somebody
it.
should reach out to the Director of Communications and give them the idea of doing a Hunger Games style competition to decide which third of the island gets the use of the transformer.
I guarantee you plenty of talk show hosts and reporters are going to be randomly selected to take part in that. Bless
You
you.
know, volunteers tribute, right?
But yeah, wouldn't that be interesting if the third weren't geographical, it'd just be who they want?
So it is okay. So I do wonder because I imagine it's dependent on how the grid is set up, right?
That's what you would think.
No, but as in, okay, our grid is interesting. I think everybody knows this, right? I have a family member who lives in an area in the east, right? And you come off of Eastern Road. Eastern Road is on, right? You go through the road that's north-south that'll take you like to Prince Charles, and that area is off. Then you get to Prince Charles, and Prince Charles is on in that segment. You cross Prince Charles, and then the area that is like Prince Charles is here. The area, the front part of the area is now on. But then you get to this person's home, and they're off.
Yeah.
And literally their next door neighbor is on.
Whoa.
That is how our grid is set up. So when he said, like you jokingly, he obviously meant he has connections in Fox Hill and Coral Harbor, and therefore he just want to know where he need to be when they put it in. But I think the interesting conversation might be, depending on how our grid is set up, it could be weird like that, where it's how it's because we don't make plans, we just throw stuff down however it comes.
Yeah. Very interesting. It'll be. I'm telling you, you might not want to know which third. This will help. This person says that data centers are dangerous. Now I understand why BPL is doing what they're doing. Data centers power the digital world, but they pose significant dangers to local communities and the environment. They consume massive amounts of electricity and water, drive up local utility bills, emit hazardous air pollution from backup generators, and generate constant. The famous Aaron Brockovich is leading a major campaign against the rapid, unchecked expansion of AI data centers across the U.S. Data centers power the digital world, but they pose. Yes, you just told us that part already. Yeah. It's certainly interesting. Certainly interesting. Data centers are not only for EV cars. What are they for cars at all? What are you talking about? Now I think this was a plan, just like the pandemic. Oh boy, a data center is the last thing we need in the Bahamas that will completely destroy our economy and our climate and our environment. This texture says, EVs are not the issue. The energy demand from hundreds of thousands of dryers and AC units far exceeds any power used by 3,000 electric vehicles. Why were they on CNN to report the purchase of a transformer? Well, I think, no, again, it sounds like they were doing a profile on Elsewedy Electric, the Egyptian company. And this
kind of came
up in the interview that they are expanding into the Western world with this experiment, with this deal with the Bahamas and BPL. Let's take another call. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air. Hi, caller. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. Strachan. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah, I know the gentleman voice in the area, but I can't recall.
Alexis Burrows.
Yeah, he might not be an electrician, but what he said is really the crux of the problem: peak charging hours. And so, whilst everybody was talking, I was not leaning on my own understanding, even though I'm an electrician. I'm retired, right? But what I'm saying is, the peak charging hours, aging infrastructure, is the crux of the problem. So then it says that electric car charging basically uses about the same thing as a water heater, right? And so we was always saying the lack of clairvoyancy, and so there are different times to charge the cars, but it actually shows you a smart grid system. The electrical vehicles, instead of being an enemy, can be sending back power to the power grid with a smart grid tool system. But in the dark ages as it relates to that, right? And one of the key things is with AC and DC, because Marvin Johnson was talking about it. What happens is they act different, even though 10 amps of AC is the same thing as 10 amps of DC. But there are differences in how they behave as it relates to root, mean, square, and sine. And so it's alternating current. So that means every 100 to 120 seconds, alternating currents will go to zero within a switch. But DC current doesn't do that. So the problem is, what they're saying is aging grid systems, right? And they can increase wire size and create a smart grid in which off-peak hours or during emergencies, these electric cars can send power back to the grid. And he also mentioned the charging time, the peak hours is really the problem too. And so what happens is you can actually slow down the problem by upgrading and being clairvoyant as it relates to this particular scenario that they're blaming the EVs on, which I think is totally ridiculous. In the fact that even though it says that power companies should be concerned. But it can also be compatible if they put in the right infrastructure. You can't allow the system to degrade and then cry wolf, as if, because one of the problems they mentioned is the fast charging at peak hours. And so it's not as simple as people think. It's like if you're adding something on, but you must find a way to work with it. But I just can't see blaming a particular object or appliance. And I like how I kind of laugh when they talk about you have to register this and that, right? It was kind of humorous for me as somebody who knows what's going on. But even as I was reading this information on transformers, right, Alexis, Google sent me an advertisement on electrical transformers. You understand what I'm saying? So
all right.
All right.
Thank you very much. Interesting. You brought up something, and I'm wondering if this is what the BGC CEO meant. I mean, he said he's only been here for 3 months. Could he be talking about the fast chargers, which most homes would not have? We know the fast chargers, and we had many months back mentioned this, that we don't have many fast chargers in New Providence, and they mentioned that BPL was not prepared for that. Is that what he's talking about? That fast chargers would be an issue.
Get him on the show.
Okay. And fast chargers would be an issue. BPL definitely can't. I think there might only be a couple here.
But my phone is fast charge.
Well,
sorry,
not many people can fit in your phone. But who knows? Who knows? And this is the thing. They're just talking. They're just saying anything that comes to their head. And but there might be some truth to some of the things, but it's not quite accurate because, again, if this is using as much power as your water heater or dryer, that's not going to be an issue.
No, but like I said, the issue is if you have the majority of people charging at the same time, and obviously this is more problematic. So
but then they need to shut down.
Yeah, so it describes it as level 1 and level 2 chargers. I presume the level 2 chargers is the fast charging because it has a higher pull.
So if all of us plugged in our cell phones at the same time in New Providence, we will sync. That's what you're saying.
I don't think that's what they're saying.
Well, it sounds like that's what they're saying. This texture says here, ask the question, why are they using you all as testers? What other country have used their product? It says it here. They've got a foothold in some other countries. Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and the Americas.
Africa,
well, I don't know.
You remember that song? Asia, Australia.
No, I don't know that one.
Europe, North America, and South America, to the continental. Sesame Street.
Oh, wow.
Maybe that's my era of Sesame Street.
I don't know what you're trying to say. But
no, because they sound like they're everywhere. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay. Do they not understand the negative environmental impact of data centers and what they cause to communities, the pollution to the air, water, and land? Data centers will destroy tourism. It will destroy your beautiful environment. Its primary purpose is to support AI.
Dun, dun, dun.
Interesting text here. A new transformer will not work on your antiquated grid system. Well, I don't know. Improve the grid system first, then get the transformers. Well, I mean, if our experts traveled all the way to Egypt to inspect it, I'm sure they know what they're doing. As the chairman of the PLP said, you got to support the Baby professionals, right? Why are we talking about 3,000 EVs? The number was 2,500 a couple days ago, but maybe it's 3,000 now. I don't know. This is complete nonsense. I could see a strategic discussion around projections of 50,000 EVs in 20 years and the power needs, but not OMG, we have 3,000 EVs. Again, it was a great way to distract you from the challenges that they're facing at the moment. I want to know when you charge your vehicle, how long does the charge last before you must charge it again? Again, most EV drivers are in Nassau, it's a small island, New Providence, and most are usually charging only once a week.
I have a question. What is the charging time for all of the government vehicles that are electric that they've invested in? Are they charging them at a time that's not peak to assist with avoiding this issue? Did the person who commented about the EVs, were they aware that the government has a fleet of electric vehicles?
He's only been there a few months. There are lots of jokes I could make in response to that, but we don't have the time to get into that. But
or the money for the fines, or the legal fees.
Through my parents' corner in Pinewood, literally half the corner is off and the other half is on. Guess what side she lives on? Oh, boy. You mean like at this moment or usually? What are you saying? At this very moment?
I tell you the grid funny. Not ha-ha funny.
Caller, good morning. You are, you're gone. Okay. Pessimism is annoying, but one thing they could do is allow solar on homes back into the grid. Huh? That is a thing.
Yeah.
That is a thing, Texter. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the money, you can do it.
Mm-hmm. You definitely can.
It's been allowed for years now.
Mm-hmm. I think it's been, I want to say at least 5 or 6 years.
Definitely.
So,
A little more than that.
you have the ability to, one, have solar panels for your home, two, have a battery supply so that you can store excess solar and then power your home in the night when the sun is not out, the ability to connect to the grid, and I think supply back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The grid tie-in system is in place. It's been for a few years. And you can do that. You can definitely do that. You could choose not to, and you can choose to do it. It's been a thing. Okay, caller, good morning. You're live.
Dwight, I just try not to talk too much about the EC or BPL or whatever you want to call it right now. Right? First of all, right, half the truth is a whole lie. According to New Providence, what they said in the office of the Prime Minister, Bahamas Power and Light provides 315 to 350 megawatts of available generation power for an expected summer load of 250 megawatts. They can't tell us that we're now using 80 to 100 megawatts more for the summer. The problem is not generation. The problem is an antiquated transmission and delivery system. Right, if you remember, I continuously said, right, that this will continuously to grow and grow. And I've been saying this for more than 5 to 6 years. And unless we have, and I ask you to ask these people this, where is our consumption reduction strategy for the power grid? I already knew this was going to fail, right? If you don't have a consumption reduction strategy for a power grid, an aging power grid that knows your capacity can't have, because we're good at saying, oh, we bought more generation. So that's like having a leaking cup that holds 8 ounces, and then you go and buy 20 ounces of drinks. You can't deliver it. You can't. And so we'll keep lying about this because we're trying to move things around on the table because nobody want to accept responsibility for one hidden truth.
You said consumption reduction strategy, right? But for whom? Because the government is doing that.
Everybody.
For everybody.
No,
wow. I mean, that's really going to be challenging.
Right. You cannot exist in this world without it, right? Because, if we could reduce 40% of what we need, we could actually reduce the generation strategy that reduces the cost to run. These fees that you're paying for fuel is because it's just the system, the way it's laid out, we're paying more. This is why your fuel bill is more than your capacity, because we're losing capacity. It's so much things wrong with this picture. It isn't one thing. It's a multitude of systems that we need a strategy. They should have laid out to us already. Here is the plan. Remember that dump they did on us? Nowhere in that dump was the actual plan. You're going to build a house. The Bible, God told you, measure the cost.
All right.
They don't want to do it.
I'm going to invite you back because we got to talk about what exactly that means. I don't know. I don't think you mean not turning on your appliances and like
No. I mean
buying more efficient.
Replacing a lot of the appliances.
Yes, right.
It's so many. It's a lot. It's an actual strategy. It isn't one thing.
I mean, they have been doing some things. You remember, and I was hoping they were going to expand
they've been
this
saying
year.
stuff.
No,
right?
Remember now, they started last year with the if you buy the energy efficient appliances, you could bring them in duty free.
No, it goes way more than that, right? When you decide that we need $3.5 billion, $4 billion to do this, right? Part of that is that it's a whole long plan. You know what they call loss leaders in stores and stuff where they sell eggs for one price to get you to do different things? It's a whole thing of building an economy, not fixing the grid. And so there's a cost in going and building the economy. but it requires somebody to accept responsibility for the legacy debt that's hidden, maybe as much as $2 billion, as well as adding another $4 billion, $3 billion, whatever, to actually bail it out, and then having a 10-year strategy. The problem is when you have a 10 to 15-year strategy and you got 5-year celebrities, that's the problem. Thanks.
Okay, all right. One more call, and then we have to take a break. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air. Hi, are you there? Hi, caller. Good morning. You're live. No? Okay, let's take that break, and then we will be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on a Friday morning. Thank goodness it's Friday here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
The fridge went still. I sighed and said, well, here's the bill, courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. 1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL.
On Angie, how does it feel to have pro riding world record?
Sore, Sean. That bull was angry.
Angie, I think that bull is headed towards your red convertible.
I broke the world record and he broke my car. Oh well, at least I've got CG Comprehensive Motor to cover this.
Damage and more. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. National Health Insurance Program will need to move towards a diversified funding plan due to the program's rapid growth since its inception. That's according to Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Christy Butler. She was speaking during a press conference yesterday at the agency's headquarters, saying that NHI has experienced a period of rapid growth in the last 9 years, and they've brought on almost half of the Bahamian population. And that means every beneficiary is an increased cost. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Business section. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Thursday, your market movers. Cable Bahamas moving 200 shares, closing at 360, unchanged. Commonwealth Bank moving 17,637, down 5 cents, closing at 410. Doctors Hospital moving 400, unchanged at 487. Fidelity Bank moving 60, unchanged at 1350. And Consolidated Water up 4 cents, closing at 598. Emira Incorporated down 3 cents, closing at 1259. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 3,243.18, down 0.04. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And wrapping things up very quickly, we'll probably get into this at some point later, next week as the week is over. But interesting headline in the Tribune today: robbery voice notes can be played at trial. A judge rules that recordings at the heart of the Odyssey Aviation case are seminal evidence and has denied objections to having the voice notes played at the trial. It's going to be interesting to watch that case. Alexis Burrows, thank you for being here today and every first Friday of the month. Appreciate seeing you.
Always a pleasure.
See you again in a few weeks.
Yes, sir.
I'll be back on Monday with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green. Let's play that song one more time. Hopefully, we won't have to play it much next week. Hopefully, it'll be a great weekend, and we won't have to talk too much about power issues. But until then, enjoy.
All of a sudden, darkness grabbed me by the throat. The fan stopped spinning, the fridge went still. I sighed and said, well, here's the bill, courtesy of BPL. They've got us living by candlelight. 1 minute you're dancing, the next you can't see. Surprise, they shout. Courtesy of BPL. Find your flashlight, where could it be? Welcome to another blackout party.
New school year, new gear. From uniforms to laptops, a Fidelity personal loan can help you check every item off of your kid's school list. Jump into back to school season with ease. Apply for a Fidelity personal loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Everybody Wins Live, the winning is bigger, the action is hotter, and the excitement never stops. We're giving away thousands in cash and free spins every month through our high-paying casino tournament. From Spin-Off to Spin Rush to our high-energy slot race tournament, your next spin could turn into your next payday. But that's not all. Lottery players can chase the jackpot, where every $10 lottery spend gets you one step closer to bursting the next jackpot. Will you be our next winner? What are you waiting for? Visit Everybody Wins Live to see all the ways you can cash in.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer